we're live. Josue, baby. What does Josue have to say today? What's up, man? Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, I sent you on a wild goose chase to get this.
He had me go to his old place, guy. I had to go across Miami during rush hour,
like,
but I'll forgive it.
I'm like, bro, I'm about to get roasted. He's about to just absolutely roast me on Instagram. Like, what is this dude doing? But, man, it's so awesome that you're here, and it's cool that we met through, like we were mentioning, our mutual friend Steph Veloso, who I also met online.
Shout out, looking for stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny because when I met her, what was cool about her is I remember she's like, hey, let's just go meet up at a coffee shop. It wasn't like anything weird or anything. It was just like, let's go meet up. And she was like, most people just don't do that anymore. And I love that. Just meeting someone in person. I used to do this podcast all remote. Everything was remote interviews, talking to people and top performers. It's not the same. It doesn't feel the same, and I feel like you just don't develop that human connection and that vibe, which is really, for me, the number one thing I love about podcasting. What about you?
No, 100%. I have a podcast, too, at What Josue Has to Say. Shameless plug. Man, and it's not the same. I've had people, not unfortunately, but because they're from another state, you know, via Skype or whatever I use, it's not the same. It just doesn't feel, when you have someone face-to-face, it's that human connection, like you said, and it's just a better vibe.
I've also found that if podcasting isn't convenient, it's so annoying. What I mean is when we built the studio, it's easy because you can just walk in and start recording. You're not checking every mic and every this and every cable and every camera angle. It's dialed, and then you can just churn out podcasts. But it's a lot of work to set it up, especially these people that do mobile podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I actually know a guy. I've never recorded with him, but I met him recently, and he gave me his card. It was like a digital card, which I didn't even know was a thing. And he introduced me to the idea of mobile podcasting, which I had never even heard about. And apparently it's going well for him. Like he just said he had one on a yacht. So imagine you just pull what a Miami thing, right? A podcast on a fucking yacht. Like, so wait, can I curse on here? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Of course, yeah.
A podcast on a fucking yacht. Like, how much more Miami does that get?
It's
you know
so
what I mean?
True. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the digital cards, by the way.
I don't even have a regular card. So
for people that don't understand, apps have now made sharing your contact information easier by sharing a digital card. So it's an app that has your address, all of your different social media handles. And instead of being like, yo, what's your IG or your digits? People are like, oh, scan my card. And then you get this card. And then I get the card. And now I just don't take action at all because there's too many options.
That's true.
What's that app Nazar created where you scan it and it immediately follows your Instagram page?
I'm not sure. He created that one?
That's what he said when he was here. He had a card. He puts it down at the parties. People scan it, and it automatically logs.
He used one of those like CMG machines that cuts plastic. This guy has created one of the top performing, arguably the best performing facial recognition algorithm in the world for 1 to N. He's like a super genius. He was the CTO of a company I used to work with, Nazar Chafney. He was on the podcast, I think like episode 150. And he is a engineer, and he just always creates all this crazy shit. So he came over with this wood block, and he lasered in some sort of QR code so that you could go in, scan it, and it automatically connected you to the Wi-Fi, and also gave your contact information.
That's wild, dude.
That's like how that guy thinks.
That's so fucking crazy.
It's crazy how people think completely different.
I would have never, in 100 years, that would have been the last thing on my fucking mind.
Right.
Yeah.
He came over with an entire suitcase full of electronics. Full-on transformer.
This was your former coworker, you said?
Yeah, former boss turned friend. Yeah.
Okay. Well, CTO of a company, you have that type of, you know.
We spent a lot of time in San Francisco together, so it was just me and the two founders at this facial recognition startup called TrueFace. This was back in 2014, 2015. And
when San Francisco was still San Francisco.
Yeah, it was different.
Things were a little dicey.
Yeah, these days. Dicey. Well, I came here. I was the first wave of New Yorker, and one of the videos you made was so funny, and it was super viral. It was about the transition of New Yorkers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Bro, he's speaking to me. I'm that guy. All of a sudden, I got the chain, the long hair comes out, the
there
fedora.
You go. You see, slowly but surely it happens.
It happens to us all.
You're magic city'd up.
But, man, honestly, what you've built is so amazing because something that captured me about the way you perform and you do your podcast is you're so authentic. You're so you. And whether or not that you feel that way, it's incredible that you're able to just like be yourself, be open, make fun of yourself, make fun of others, but all comically. You have a gift for that.
Thank you, bro. I feel that people resonate with that. Like if you're relatable, people smell authenticity. One thing about Miami is there's a lot of fake things in Miami, but Miamians can spot a fake ass motherfucker from a mile away. You know what I mean? So I feel like when you keep it just relatable and authentic, like people resonate, towards it. And it really took me a while because in the beginning, you're all nerves and you're kind of in your head. So it wasn't like that off the bat. That was my end game, but as much as I tried, it didn't flow out of me as naturally as I wanted it to. But practice makes perfect, and you get more comfortable in front of 2 years ago I probably would have been sitting right here and be like, hey, my name's Josue. But
Josue.
Yeah.
That's a great name too.
Thank you.
You're fire at it, but you made a great point. Practice does make perfect. So many people see what you're doing and think there's no way I could ever do that. There's no way I could have the confidence to get up there and to be able to spit what you spit and say what you say. And you said it in the beginning, you weren't that good.
No, absolutely not. And I think everybody thinks that way at some point in the beginning. You have to be ultra confident or just really love the limelight to not. I can't picture anybody, doing something for the first time and not being nervous. You know what I mean? Specifically something where people are going to watch, people are going to judge, some people are going to support you, some people are going to shit talk. Because you're not going to be great at it off the bat, but you got to do what you got to do, man. Like if you want to change anything, you have to change.
So true. I've also learned in my 31 years of life that no matter how bad you F up, it seems, no one really cares across the world in 2 weeks.
It's only you. No, it's only you. You're your worst critic, 110%.
I feel like I suffer from that like crazy.
I do too, man. Like I'll be thinking about shit that probably I'll mess up like I don't know something on a story or something, and I'll be thinking about it for the next week, and no one even probably noticed.
Right.
But it's we're our worst critic. It is
totally.
That's how it is.
That's interesting. It's great having Sky and team. Like I feel the first sort of half chapter of my business career, I was always doing everything my own. And then I finally stepped down, started outsourcing it, like virtual assistants and bringing on different people to serve different functions in business and life. But when you have someone else, like for me, it's Sky in a lot of situations, like he'll find like clips that he thinks are really great that I'll just be like, that's stupid. He's like, no, that's great. Because you are your own critic. You're looking at one thing and you see an imperfection. You need a team to come in and look at it different because they see things so different.
100%.
And it's interesting. It's like, who do you have in your corner? Who's your team? Who's the people you're bouncing ideas off of on a day-to-day basis? Are they making you better? Are they making you stronger? I think about that all the time.
You are who you hang out with, right? In Spanish, we have dime con quien andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you are. You become kind of like an embodiment of the collective people you are around. So it's important to have a good support system and a good team around you. If you got some fake ass people around you, then that's likely gonna mess you up.
The podcast has been big for me for that. It's really allowed me to network with awesome humans. And like you said, when you meet with someone and you're just face to face and you smell that authenticity, you just create a good group. And I think that community is a thing that is missing in most people's lives. I know it's missing in my life. I think that if I find myself late night scrolling on my phone, I find myself getting depressed because I'm just not socializing, hanging out with people. I just find myself just sucked into the abyss of the dopamine rush of going through things that I don't care about.
Yeah, you're still there.
But you're there. You're
there.
Deep. What are your thoughts on social media and sort of like the addiction our world is facing?
I think it's a double-edged sword, man. Personally, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm naturally introverted. I'm not an extrovert by any means. If I'm out somewhere public, I will never go up to anybody. Somebody goes up to talk to me, and I kind of I don't know how the conversation is going to go, so I immediately devise a plan on how to get out of there. Because if I get sucked into a convo where I feel bad that I can't get away, from, then I'm just I'm just there like an hour sucked into somebody talking. So, but that's changed with time. And I hate to admit it, but we're social creatures. Humans need other humans to thrive, to bounce off of, to share ideas, and to have that emotional connection with. But I hate to admit it, but it's the truth, and I'm a human too. And with social media, it's a double-edged sword. I think that it's ironic that it was built to bring everyone together, yet it's caused so much distance, right? You could be talking. I live maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes from friends of mine, and we will never meet up, but we're texting. It's like, yo, just come out of your house and walk half a block, and I'll walk half a block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yet it doesn't happen, and it's strange, but I definitely feel that it's a tool, and with any tool in life, it's how you wield it, right? It's the responsibilities on you. It's the responsibilities on, hey, I have to be discerning and self-aware that I'm using this shit too much, or I'm using it as a crutch or whatever the fuck, and not blaming it. I think a lot of people blame, oh my God, it's social media, look what it's done. No, the responsibility's on you. Just take accountability for shit.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, accountability. Knowing you have a problem is the first
100%.
step.
Like, what a concept, right?
What a concept. We were just talking about we need to see nature more. This guy I have a picture of my dad sent me all these pictures when I was a kid, and it's me holding like fish, and I'm just so stoked, you know? And we were talking about how we need to go back to the stream. You need to throw in a fishing pole to reinvigorate those emotions you felt as a child that just made you feel so free. Because it's hard to even remember some of that stuff. I don't have a really great memory. I don't know if you do.
Bro, it's so crazy you brought this up, because for some reason I was thinking about this podcast like earlier today, and I knew this conversation was going to happen, like the nature thing. I don't know why, but I thought about this being a topic.
Deja vu.
And now it's a fucking topic. Bro, isn't it crazy how like desensitized and disconnected from like the source of our energy and reality that we get amazed when we spend time in nature, and then we're like, oh my God, I'm so happy. Like that should be like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like we come from the planet. Like we, you know, when you connect with the planet, you're happier. You spend time at the beach. You got some sun. You run barefoot outdoors, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't surprise you, but it does, because we're so disconnected. Like, why is that even like a topic? But we're so again disconnected from it that I don't know. It's crazy. It's
funny. It's like, oh, I saw nature today. Really?
Yeah.
What was it like?
You mean like it's right? Like, step outside. That's all you got to do.
Your feet hit the sand. Damn.
It's wild, man.
But it's also a world where when you have access to everything and your email is always flooded and there's always exciting things happening in your email and social media, it's hard to not want it. Because personally, I'm the type of person that gets myself into a lot of things, and it's a blessing and a curse, you know? Yeah. I like to do a lot at the same time, but then I get overwhelmed because I'm doing a lot at the same time. But being able to purposefully put down your phone and just see nature is something that we don't do unless someone's mentioning mushrooms or something. In that case.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it goes back to the accountability stuff, right? That we mentioned earlier. You have to hold yourself accountable. Hey, I've been, too lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Let me be present. Maybe go outside, get some sun my balls.
Do you follow the account Carnivore?
Aurelius? Yeah.
Dude's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a character.
Whoever
that man is.
Whoever that man is. Yeah, he's starting to sell stuff. I love watching these brands and then seeing what they start to do to monetize their brand and seeing like what they're. I think that guy's created his own liver chips or something.
I think he has beef jerky, something like that, or liver
which is
chips,
awesome. Such a great idea.
That.
Build a huge community of people that just love that lifestyle and then start selling them some products.
Yeah, 100%. That's how you got to do it.
That's so interesting. I looked at your link tree, and there's a brand that's the first one. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, Van Man.
Van Man.
Yeah,
so they're redefining toothpaste.
Yes.
What's the story with that?
They're doing a few things. So Van Man, I'm a marketing affiliate with Van Man. He specializes really on beef tallow. That's how we started. So beef tallow, it's like a big thing now. I don't know if you've heard of it. So is that
what we have? The beef tallow?
Yeah, that's what we use for cooking.
Okay, yeah. There you go. So you can cook with it, or you can put it on your face because it's great for the skin. So he started with the beef tallow, and then he expanded towards like toothpaste and deodorant. He just
that's the stuff right there.
Oh my God, yeah.
We got fold.
Deodorant, which by the way, the deodorant, I think he dropped it like recently. I have tried and now this is not a plug. Like I'm just really saying it because I really fucking love it. I've tried all these like aluminum-free deodorants. They either don't work or they give me a rash. This just smells amazing, and it actually fucking works, man. Like this is again, it's not a plug. I just really fucking love it. It
should be a plug though. If a product's great, it should be a plug.
Which one's the deodorant?
Gray. It's a gray little. No, go up. There it is, right there.
Okay.
Coconut. magnesium.
Beef tallow is
deodorant.
incredible. We've been cooking with it, and it's fire. I mean, I've used to use olive oil, but then obviously it has the high smoking points. You can't use it.
Dude, this guy's, I mean, he adds like extra things to it, but it's mostly just natural organic beef tallow. That shit fucking works so well for stretch marks and eczema.
Oh, really?
I've had so many people buy it and show me like before and after pictures, like their eczema completely gone, their stretch marks like 80% lighter. It's crazy shit, and it's natural. It's not like some shit that was cooked up in a lab that your skin's absorbing, and who knows where it's going.
It's crazy how long it took for the world to become aware of how crazy the ingredients are.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like 10 years ago, you would have said this anywhere else, be like, "You're so crazy." Like, what do you mean?
The rule of thumb is if you can't pronounce the ingredient, you should probably not be using it.
Yeah, man. I saw this meme the other day, and I think it was a meme or a tweet or some shit, where it said, we've done a great job at getting people to focus on calories, on counting calories and not counting ingredients, which makes all the sense. Like, oh, it has 100 calories, but guess what? That ingredient list is the size of a CVS receipt. You know what I mean? So you're just there like, you're putting all that shit into your body. Do the opposite. Maybe, don't care as much about calories, but maybe it has your product has 2 ingredients, 3 ingredients top. I remember the first time I saw potato chips with 3 ingredients, I was blown away at Whole Foods. I was like, oh my God, what do you mean 3? Potatoes, salt, and olive oil. I was like, this is so crazy. Such a short fucking ingredient list.
What do you mean? What is this from the art?
Yeah. It's wild.
What's your diet like? Are you like what are you typically eating on a day?
I don't really follow any fad. I've done them all, man. I've done the vegan, I've done the carnivore. I've been just see what my body kind of. I think as long as you're eating like shit that fucking grows from the ground, you're probably safe, man.
Right.
And not every organism, in my opinion, is built the same. What makes you feel good probably won't make me feel good. You should probably focus on like whatever your immediate ancestors ate, right? Like I'm Cuban, I should probably eat whatever like my great grandparents were like farming. If you're from, I don't know where your past is from, but you look Nordic or something,
Yeah,
somewhere up north.
I'm like the whitest gringo in Miami for
so,
sure.
Like maybe foods that that your great grandparents ate, or in Europe or wherever you came from. Like it makes sense to me,
Yeah, anything that grows from the ground is probably good.
Mm-hmm.
Meat for sure.
Yeah.
Big fan of it. I've had a lot of gut issues throughout my life. Everyone on the podcast knows it extensively. It's this thing called SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. It's like bad IBS.
Okay.
But basically just means like my stomach's like a wuss and just doesn't like handle.
Have you been able to control it, or?
Yeah, now I'm good. I'm like really good now, and it's eliminating sugar. It's like
that was
the
it?
biggest thing. No, it was more than that, but it was also intermittent fasting helps a lot.
Yeah.
And making sure that when you get constipated, you don't let that problem build up, and recognizing it, because your gut is where 90% of your serotonin is created.
Yeah.
So if your gut is compromised or you have inflammation, which most people have, anyone that goes to a fast food restaurant has some level of inflammation when you eat it. You're using all these different seed oils and different things. Not all of them, but I'm assuming 99.9%, right? It's really bad for you. And I think that it's crazy that we create these gut imbalances from the food we eat, and then we treat them with over-the-counter drugs from these companies that are making money on it. It's a crazy system.
Because it's not a crazy system. It's a smart system. Like everyone scratches each other's backs. You know what I mean? That's what it is, and it's unfortunately what capitalism has built. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the game.
It's
Either
the game.
play it or don't get played by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. And unfortunately, now is when people are putting 2 and 2 together about gut health really ruling mental health. It took a while to get there, though, and a lot of sad people to, I
got this nice fact pulled up here. There's 100 billion neurons in the brain, and your gut contains 500 million neurons.
That's so crazy.
So you eat one fire milk chocolate bar, even though there's arguments that dark chocolate is good for you, but I'm talking milk chocolate. All of a sudden, those 500 million neurons just get whacked. And now all of a sudden, you're pulling from these creatures inside your body, which are literally actually creatures and organisms.
The bacteria,
that
right?
live inside you. And that's the whole other thing. If you're not going outside, you're not getting your bacteria. And now all of a sudden it's crazy. I remember my dad told me that his grandpa used to like swim in that river in New York City. That's just
Oh my God, yeah.
I think it's called the East River or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
And there was a dead horse floating down the river once, and they were jumping on and off the horse like a diving board.
That is insane.
And I guess he never got sick. Another crazy thing is he used to sleep outside on the roof because there wasn't enough spaces in the house. So he would like have a little like hut with a little tarp over it, and he would just sleep there. And one day he'd wake up and like the snow would be on him because it was too cold. And he says he just never got sick. He was like, no one never gets sick because he was like born with these adaptations.
Yeah, you get you build your body's what's that called?
Antibodies.
Antibodies. There you go. Yeah, 100%. My dad grew up poor as shit in fucking Cuba. Similar, like sleeping outdoors, not literally eating dirt, but you know what I mean. Never saw that man sick a day in my life, ever. Never saw my dad sick ever, not once. And it's a product of how you live your life. If you live your life inside of a hand sanitizer bottle, then how is your body gonna fight anything off once you do have to fight something off? You're probably gonna get sick all the time.
My brother married a Cuban girl, so we've been integrated into the Cubans, and they're
welcome.
The parties are lit, man.
Amazing.
They know how to party.
Yeah,
Cubans know how to party, and I genuinely just love. I've never had a bad experience with Cubans. Obviously, there's like different people, but
yeah, every culture has their.
But Spanish culture, generally speaking, is dope.
Thank you, bro.
I love I'm learning Spanish right now. Don't test me right now because I can't.
I was about
speak
to,
live.
so I will.
But like texting, I'm pretty fire right now. Like I can read and write decently.
Nice.
But it's a whole different ball game when you start hearing someone speak it.
Especially Cubans, I feel like everything's like a one run-on sentence, and we speak kind of fast. So if you're learning, it'd probably like, ¿qué? It's
my favorite thing about Hispanic culture is just there's a lot more love around family.
Yeah, we're tighter knit, I think, culturally when it comes to like the immediate core family and the extended family too. I mean, I'm biased, but I love the Hispanic culture mostly because it's very lively and tight knit. You know what I mean? There's warmth, so that makes it nice. That's the way that I see it. Whereas other cultures, I don't see like a lot of warmth. Hispanics are really, really, they might talk shit behind your back because they love to gossip, but the warmth is there.
Right. Well, it's the extremes is what they say.
Yeah.
The most love, but the most terror with a Hispanic girl.
Yeah.
There it goes, back and forth.
Yeah.
You gotta be down to play. You want to play with fire, you're gonna get stabbed.
100%.
But it's interesting in terms of throughout your journey of building your podcast and throughout living, what have you found has been sort of some of the key drivers towards what makes you happy on a day-to-day basis?
That's a good question. And it's taken me a while to realize that because I think you ask most people what makes you happy. Most people are like, I don't know, drinking. I think connectivity with others, specifically people that I love, not just anybody, is key. Creativity. I've found that it's something that my page and all that stuff has really made me focus on is how I need to be creative. And for such a long time, I was really creative as a kid. I used to draw, all this shit, all this jazz. I abandoned it around middle school because, middle school, you want to be cool and things change. And I never went back to drawing or doing anything creative until I started the podcast almost. So I went into software development career-wise, and that's very, it's not uncreative, but it's not, artistic.
So you're a software developer?
No. Are you familiar with Agile, the methodology?
Yeah.
Scrum Master.
Oh, okay.
So I lead an Agile team.
Sick.
So
you're a tech guy.
Yeah, kind of. It's not
you speak, you direct, you
correct, kind of like project manage type of thing, but in that field, the software development field. And once I started doing the podcast and the page and all that stuff, like something started, that creativity that I thought I had lost. I was like, I was creative when I was a child, like a past tense type of thing. It came back. So I've realized creativity is kind of like a muscle that the more you work on it, the more creative you get. It's like going to the gym. Like, you want a bigger bicep, you exercise the bicep. You want more creativity, you exercise the creative part of your brain. And now I'm just so like quicker with it, or just to come up with an idea. Whereas 2 years ago when I started, it took me a while. I felt kind of like writer's block, or like just stuck, dead end type of thing. And now it flows way easier. And that's made me realize that it makes me happy when you see yourself expand and grow. You're happier. You're proud of yourself.
Yeah. And when you get to care for something, which is why animals are so great too.
Right. Absolutely. And they don't talk back, which is excellent.
Yeah, the writer's block thing is so real.
That shit's real.
And I think that getting out of your own head is so tough. 2 great methods is, number one, getting other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And then also getting back out to nature, man.
Yeah.
Getting back out to your roots, going back, figuring it out. Because sometimes I feel it's so hard to plan for the future, because I don't know if you feel this, but I feel like my entire perspective on who I think I am, where I'm going, has changed dramatically in 3-year increments. Like, I'm 31 today. When I was 28, like, I was not thinking like I am today. And when I was 25, I was not thinking like I'm 28. And I think I knew what I wanted in the future, but it's all changing as I get older and have experiences. So it's like you're constantly trying to adapt to the new you, which change is inevitable. If you're not down to adapt, you're going to just get dusted,
If you don't adapt, you die.
Adapt or die.
No, I completely agree. And I think that's, if you're not experiencing that, then you're likely doing something wrong. I mean, I don't want to say you're doing something wrong. Everybody has a different path or whatever. But change is part of life. It's the only constant, right? So if you're not changing, you're probably not growing. And I think 3-year increments is probably that's a good time window for what you're saying. I think I can validate that myself. I think those 3-year windows are true. Now that I'm looking at it, I hadn't thought about it that way. I know I've changed, but I didn't think about like the time period. And yeah, that kind of checks out. I think every 3 years you kind of just like transform into like somebody else. Like, you're still you in essence.
For sure.
But things change.
Well, it's cool when I like meeting someone that I used to know. But then I meet him now, and then it's been 10, 12 years. They're completely different people.
Yeah.
Completely different experiences.
Especially if they've had kids, then they kind of like morph into somebody else. Sometimes, not always, but
yeah. I think you said something today about having kids is great, but having no kids,
it's a little better. Yeah.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah. I mean, I want children at some point, but I still feel young, man. I mean, I'm in my 30s, but
totally
30s and you're 20.
Well, we're living longer.
Are we? I don't know.
We're supposed to. We're doing all the biohacking.
Like, are we?
We're eating the gluten-free chips, yo.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah,
I think
we still had like 20 years of shit like that we gave our system, so who knows?
That's true. We got a really tough start.
Yeah.
But I think we should live. I think the age expectancy should be much higher, which also is my thought process behind there's no reason to follow what your parents did in terms of marriage and things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is a whole new wave, and we're seeing it live as we go. There's no rush.
Absolutely. I mean, the name of the game is discernment, right? You get from your parent, you discern what your parents did right that still relates to you and applies to you. You take that, you leave the rest. That's with anything in life. You take what you need and throw away what doesn't apply anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got to get rid of them scraps.
Yeah.
What is this guy?
Just some Google facts over here. I don't know where they're pulling it from, but it's listed here that the life expectancy of baby boomers is 85. Or no, I'm reading that backwards. It's 70. And 85 is the life expectancy of Gen X. Gen Z is predicted to live over 100 years.
Impossible. I cannot. No.
Well,
Yo, what is wrong with Gen Z? Can we
I don't know, the way they won't make it to 100, that's for sure.
Well, the Japanese got it dialed. Those guys were all over like 100.
Yeah.
That's
the green tea, man. It makes you live forever.
It's interesting that I mean,
I wonder what they base that off of, though. Like 100 years.
Scientific facts. No.
Yeah, but Gen Z's like what? In their 20s now? Early 20s? Like, how do they measure that?
I imagine it has to be something so simple as they're not eating toxic shit from the beginning of their life.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
because I grew up. I mean, I'm sure you did too. Like
Chef
corn
Boyardee.
toasties, bagel bites, cereal, like
Yeah.
all the good shit, like
Hot Pockets.
the best things in life. And then we all found out collectively that that's all terrible.
Hey, it's all killing you. BTW.
I think the big thing, that we could take away, I guess it's saying medical progress, but like just the information we have going back to social media is just health consciousness.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
that's
there's people
that's a good
doing
point.
doing the hard work. You have Huberman, like Joe Rogan's whole vibe has like enlightened a lot of the world into all these amazing ways of being better. Who's the guy that's doing all the research that I tried his recipe and it's
Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him. Who's
He's
that?
basically dedicated his life to de-aging. So he's in his mid-50s, I believe, and he has
he's the NMN guy? Is that what it's called? The NMN?
No, yeah, it's not that guy. He's not. Yeah, this Project Blueprint.
Oh,
So
I'm not sure.
apparently he spends like something around $2 million or something a year on his body. So he was like a super successful CEO, sold his company, has a bunch of money, and has essentially donated his body to study how to de-age yourself. And he
I've seen this guy.
yeah, he looks like he's like in his early 20s. And it's unbelievable what this guy's doing. He's able to essentially, if you look at the actual
He looks
statistics,
a little unnatural though, like a cyborg
he's
or something.
doing blood transfusions with his son.
That's
This is the guy.
the
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
I mean,
I tried one of his meals. I screwed it up, but it was nasty.
What was it like? What was the?
It was all extremely. If Whole Foods had an affair with another Whole Foods and they like created a super baby, all the foods were those type of super babies. It was
Wow.
over the top ingredients, but I just didn't like the taste, man.
Was it
And I
like
love cooking.
antioxidant overload type of thing?
It just wasn't. It just was really blah.
Bland.
Yeah, it was so bland. It's just
Well,
not.
I mean, he looks good. So
With that
clearly-
said, I
he
mean,
knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. But it's guys like that that are learning what to do to get us to live to over 100.
True. Yeah, they're
You know?
they're doing the body of work. Yeah.
So it goes back to saying in our world, everything's different. Like you follow the blueprint, like you said, which is really smart, but you make your own on the way.
Yeah.
And the day you get to start to make your own is the day you start to be free. But then there's a whole nother beast. Once you realize you can do what you want, then you have to deal with the realization that if you don't do what you want, you'll be haunted by it the rest of your life.
Beautifully said. Yeah.
That sketches me out all the time.
Why?
Because I think about, and it's part of a driver, and I think a lot of, let's say, successful people might have this, but I think I do it almost negatively at some point, where I get so pissed off sometimes when I'm not being productive and working towards a goal or getting sucked into something like a social media or like a bad relationship or something, and I'm not focusing on becoming like the person I could become if I just beasted. Like that drives me and scares me, because like the worst day in your life would be on your deathbed when you're staring in front of, like, let's say some higher power, and he comes down and he's like, "What's up, bro? How you doing?" I'm like, "Not that good, but I'm talking to you. How are you doing? Just let me know." And you get to see a version of you had you had no fears, had you had no doubts, or not doubts isn't the right thing because doubts drive change, but had you been the person you could have always been, and you didn't like take other people's opinions and of you, and you just committed.
But I feel like taking other people's opinions, having fear, just doubts, all that stuff, like that's part of like your journey. You know what I mean? Like how many fears and doubts or other people's opinions have you already overcome? Probably a good amount, right? Had you not had them, you wouldn't be where you're at now. Nor would you look back and be proud of yourself like, damn, I overcame that.
Right.
I did that. Like it's part of it. I don't know. Like I welcome new fears and doubts and other people's opinions because it's up to me to drive that, to how I'm gonna handle them. And I do what I can, bro. I'm not gonna fucking stress out if I can't make something happen, then I can't make something happen. I'm not gonna age myself over that shit. I try my best and trying to go easy on myself. You know, it's like a fucking shot of tequila or some shit.
That's smart. I mean, that's a life hack right there.
Easier said than done, but I understand what you're saying. I don't know, but life's too short to stress yourself out over that, man.
Life is too short to stress yourself
You can
out.
get hit by a bus right now, then, you know.
I had this conversation with my dad this morning. It's like life goes by like
Yeah. And the older we get, the quicker it seems to pass us by. So
1,000%. So stop worrying. Do the thing you want to do. Make the trip strategically. And if you can't afford it, though, you probably shouldn't make the trip.
Save your money. The economy's not doing too great.
That's something I always laugh at when it's like, yeah, just drop it all and go. I don't know. I think the better play is make your money now and then go travel at some level.
I agree with that. You have to plan ahead for sure.
Definitely.
But you also have to live in the moment.
But you have to live in the moment, the messy moment.
Yeah.
I watched my first Inter Miami soccer
Yesterday?
game, first MLS game.
Yesterday?
Well, that was actually my second.
Okay.
I watched the other one because I'm so into the Messi movement.
I haven't seen any of it. I'm terrible Miamian.
Well, soccer's very hard to watch for me. I find it pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my thing either. Cubans don't, soccer's not our thing. It's like baseball.
Baseball.
And even then, like, I don't even think there's balls in Cuba. But yeah, I've never been into soccer either. I know it's obviously like a huge fucking deal that Messi's here and he's, changing everything.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of him on? I think it was Only in Dade
At
in
Publix?
And everyone was like, "Oh my God, he's such a Floridian!" Like, because Publix and Florida are like hand in hand.
Publix is fire.
And people were just like, "Oh my God!" Like watching a zoo animal. Like, look at him. He's there with shopping bags. He's a real person.
It's so crazy.
He does groceries.
He does groceries. That guy has so much money.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think about. Like, what I like about Messi is I just love the greatness thing. Like, I'm not really into sports. I can't say that. The only sport I really love is UFC.
Okay.
You watch UFC at all?
Yeah, if it's a big fight, I'm a bandwagon fan of everything, man. Like, I'm a typical Miami. I'll say it, proud and loud. I don't really subscribe as under any fandom, but if there's a big game, then I'm there. Like, go Heat, or
Yeah, I just like seeing people win, like, on an epic scale.
Yeah, I mean, a good game or good competition or a good fight. Everybody loves the hero's journey, right?
Totally.
Seeing, like, if it's an underdog, even more, because there's that story, the rags to riches or whatever, so it makes you more invested. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with this.
Here's a change of direction. What's your vices? Do you have any specific vices that have haunted you throughout your life?
Are you trying to get me to admit my vices on camera?
Maybe not all of them. Like, I'll start. For example, for me, like, I think, like, number one, I think I smoke too much weed, only at night, which I like it because I get really creative when I smoke weed. I truly think it makes me a more creative person. But then in the morning, I get super tired. I used to be
groggy,
like, what'd you say?
Groggy in the morning.
I get so groggy in the morning. I don't have a fast start. Like, I still love smoking. Like, I just think it, like, brings people together. I also think, like, sharing a beer with someone brings people together. Even though alcohol just destroys me. Like, I hate hangovers now so much, I still will do it because, deep down in me, it will always be a sender. But that's probably one of my vices. And then caffeine has been something that I've been trying to kick recently.
How's that going?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went cold turkey doing this thing called an elemental diet, which no one should do. It's for, like, your gut health.
Okay.
You drink nothing but this, like, pre-digested formula. That's essentially the stuff they give you on a feeding tube.
Jeez.
But it works.
Yeah?
Worked really, really well. And after that, I didn't feel the addiction to like needing it to stay awake. My body started just being stoked. I was like, I'm good.
I like the sound effects.
I'm, like, wrapped up.
Caffeine for me is, I'm Cuban, the cafecito stereotype. I'll drink it, but it's not like I've never had an addiction to coffee like that. I just kind of, I don't know, just wake up and go. Alcohol has definitely been a vice for me because, like you said, I think it brings people together because it allows people, to drop their inhibitions, right? Be more real, be more in the moment, be more authentic, which we previously talked about, and I appreciate that. Sometimes you're really too in your head, so you don't really allow yourself to be real and stuff. Then if you overdo it, then we know how that ends up. You know what I mean? And I found myself when I was younger substituting alcohol for purpose, I guess. I didn't feel fulfilled with my day. You know what I mean? You get out of your 9 to 5 or cubicle or whatever the fuck. You're like, let me go to the fucking bar to feel something, because I've been within these fucking gray walls 8 hours a day, and there's no sun. I haven't seen the sun, and you know what the fuck did I do for me? I didn't do anything. Even if I did go to the gym, like, you know, before work. But so alcohol is always there to help you out, to give you something to feel.
It's the number one drug. I mean, my dad went through hell and back recently. So my mom passed a year ago. Actually, a year ago today, which is crazy. So
sorry
crazy.
to hear that.
I mean, hey, we were talking about life. Life goes so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a huge alcoholic because she was bipolar, schizophrenic. I talk about all this openly because it should be talked about. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Everyone has like effed up lives and past, and
it
wasn't her decision. Trust me, no one would want to live like that. She had a mental disorder. But because of that, my dad became an alcoholic. And my dad's like the most happy. Anyone that knows him, he's the most like unbelievably giddy, like a phenomenal human being.
Well, that's where you got it from.
I definitely. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a compliment. But he's so great. But when she passed away, he was still just getting like blackout drunk. And then on Thanksgiving, he made a fool out of himself at like a little holiday party, like family party. And that night I basically said, listen, you're this close to having everything you've ever wanted. And you're this close to losing it all.
Jeez.
And he went to AA and he went to meetings for 7 months straight. And now he's fine.
Wow, dude. That's awesome.
But it's not like for him, it wasn't that alcohol was an escape because he was miserable in his life. He was miserable because he felt stuck. He felt trapped. And now he's able to have a drink and not feel like he needs to drink a bottle of.
Oh, so he's still able to drink.
Yeah, he's
moderately.
He's back on now, but like he only drinks like 1 or 2 drinks at maybe.
That's wild, dude. Because usually people that quit, they have to, you know. I'm kind of not. I mean, I'm not an alcoholic like that, but usually like I don't enjoy 1 or 2 drinks. Like I like to drink to feel it. You know what I mean? And I'm not the type. I can take my alcohol really well. You'll never see me like blacked out or acting a fool. Like I you know. Somehow
my dad calls it handle your shit.
Yeah, somehow this little body handles it. I don't know how. It's a good liver, but fuck, I forgot where I was going with this. I don't know why.
I think we were talking about just like how that negatively affects you.
But when I do start drinking, I'm either getting fucked up or I'm having a Sprite. You know what I mean? I don't.
Sprite?
Yeah, like a joke. Like I'm having water or I'm getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I have 1 or 2 beers, then I want to keep going. You know what I mean? So it's been really hard in the past to be like, hey, have 2 or 3, take your ass home. No, I have a 4th one, and then where's the next spot? You know what I mean? And I think living and growing up in Miami has perpetuated that.
I feel like you get aged quick. I can't believe anyone that grew up in Miami. I salute you because you must have been doing the most crazy shit at like 15 years old. That most people never even think of.
I was clubbing like around that age. It was just fucking nuts. Imagine a 15-year-old. Now I think back and I'm like, I was a little dumb kid. Like, what do you mean clubbing at 15?
That's nuts.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, we had like Sneaky Pete's in Albany. We had nothing. Cool.
What is that, Sneaky Pete's?
Like just some grimy, trashy.
What was? Yeah, I don't even know.
It was like a club, but
was that at Guptill's?
No, that was not Guptill's.
Do you remember that club in the back of Guptill's though?
What was that called?
I thought that was Sneaky Pete's.
Can you look that up? I don't think it's Sneaky Pete's. It's something else. Guptill's was
any place called Sneaky Pete's. You already know what you're signing up for.
Secrets.
Oh, dude,
Secrets was where you went to like
when you were
have
underage,
your first kiss.
It was like a club.
Like an all ages type of thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
You were learning what
disgusting
grinding was. I also think the whole concept of grinding and dancing when you were younger is
God, you remember
so
that?
hilarious.
Oh, this is a great
it's embarrassing.
picture.
Very embarrassing.
If anyone pulls up a picture of me like from back in the day doing that, like I don't know what I do.
You just like casually sneak up behind someone and hope it's good. It's so wrong.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
But when you're young, that's what the kids were doing.
This is funny, dude. I got a question for you. So, you know, I love your skits. They're really funny. Do you have inspiration within the comedy scene? Do you follow any comedians closely?
Not really, bro. Like, I mean, I do the comedy skits and stuff, and I'm going to be real with you. Because it helps drive the page, because laughter sells, relatability sells, and people, you know, like when it's local stuff that everyone can relate to. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. But that's not really like, if I could drop it completely, I probably would. So I'm not really like into the comedy scene, nor do I consider myself a comedian. I don't think I'd ever do stand up because it's not. Again, I don't see myself in that light. Never say never. You never know what the future has, in store. But presently, so no, I don't really follow any comedians like that or locally. I know a bunch of them because I worked with Only in Dade for a while. So like Mr. Red, Brittany Brave, Carlos, the guy that's always like doing Man on the Street for Only in Dade. A bunch of those local people I know, and I've had them on and stuff like that. I'm cool with, but I let them do their thing, and I do my skits whenever I feel like, inspired to do a skit. And
It's truly a creative outlet for you.
yeah,
That's cool. That's real cool.
it really is. I'm so grateful for it, man. Like I was talking to somebody, I actually met another content creator last night. What was her name? She's one of those foodies like Mr. Eats. May I Take a Bite? Her name's Malin, I think. So May I Take a Bite? That type of thing is clever. Shout out. And she was just talking about how much happier it's made her. And I was kind of sharing the same sentiment. And again, I think the key factor there is creativity. Like humans are creative people. Not everyone has to have the same creative outlet. Creation can be anything. But I feel like when you exercise, there she is, that creativity, you're just happier, man. You build, like humans have to build
Well, it's
whatever.
so cool too when you build a brand. Like she built a brand where now she gets to eat the most bomb snacks and food around the world, and people might potentially even pay her to do it. You know, so that's insane. Like that's being an entrepreneur
100%.
and doing it. And a lot of people see her stuff and say, "Oh my God, she's so lucky, probably." But
Like
really, you could go out and start that tomorrow, and within a year, you'll be rocking and rolling.
Yeah, you just have to put the time and effort in it, man.
That's dope. She's got a good vibe.
I've actually seen an ad for her for like this whole past week. It's like a Fogo de Chao kind of place in Hialeah, but she's doing like a review on it. I've
Really?
been getting that ad all week long because I was about to go there with my girl, and then we didn't end up going. But I'm just like,
This is your sign to go.
I know, it's come full
The signs
circle.
are nature. This place in Hialeah,
Yeah.
and this is it. So where do you want to take where do you want to take your sort of this gift you have, this creative outlet?
That's so kind of you calling it a gift.
It's a gift, man. Because
Thank
to you, you definitely are introverted, but like you're ridiculously talented. Like what you do comes so natural to you, but people admire the crap out of you, and you see it with all these people commenting. Like
I do, bro. Appreciate that. I've done a lot of growing in my life. I think a lot of people have. Really, I like focusing on mindfulness, on how to just better yourself. You know what I mean? I'm really into like, I don't know if I'm going to use this word in the right context, like existentialism, like why we're here, the purpose of things, or like space, or like, you know what I mean? Like why are we living? I love sociology. I love understanding why humans are the way they are, why groups of people behave the way that they do, psychology, things of the mind and stuff like that like really interest me. But I also like to have fun. So if I can, which is kind of what I'm doing, mold the two and have those conversations that make people think and internalize while making people laugh, that's all I can ever ask for. And if I can monetize, I'm already making some money, but like if I could really monetize off of that, then that would be amazing. That's like you're bringing value to people, you're helping people out, and at the same time you're having fun. Like who wouldn't want that as a fun career? You know what I mean?
that sounds incredible. Existentialism.
Thank
I
you.
want to break that down.
I'm sure you could break that down many ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in 2023.
Yeah. What's its pronouns?
Yeah, right. They, them.
That's interesting. Existentialism, a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will.
I love it. I love it.
That's deep.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. I love thinking about like why you're here, what are you doing, like how deep does it get? I don't know. I'm fascinated by it.
Do you have any hinges?
Hey, what?
Do you know why we're here?
Are you on Hinge?
That did sound like I said that.
Talk to me off of the mic. Yeah, I have my ideas, and they've been influenced by things that I've read online or videos I've seen on TikTok or things like that. I've gathered different intel, and I have my belief of why we're here. You want me to
I want to
share
know.
that? I think, you know how people say this is like a simulation type of thing? I think it might be, but not like a simulation like like The Sims or anything like that. I think that at the base of it all, you're probably like the soul that just reincarnates and comes to collect data. You know, so when you die, you pass away. Like, I don't think you really die. You just transform, right? The nature of the universe is like energy never dies, right? So if you believe that energy never dies, then what happens to this energy? It probably, like a cycle, regenerates in some other form. And I feel like whatever you didn't accomplish that you set out to accomplish in this lifetime, then you probably go on and do another lifetime to, you know, finish crossing off those check boxes. It's like school. It's like Earth school.
Earth school.
You know, you're there for like a class, and then like if you didn't pass, then you repeat the class, maybe with a different teacher, right? But you're still in the 8th grade, and you just keep doing it until like, I mean, in life it's the same thing, right? How many times have you seen yourself stuck in life, and it's because you don't learn the lesson?
So true.
So how,
and when you do learn the lesson, you feel so proud of yourself.
Yeah, right. So it probably is the same thing. Like, you're here to do certain things and grow as a soul, and if you don't, then you gotta do it all over again.
You saw that Disney movie Soul?
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it so much.
What a great movie.
Yeah.
That and another one's Inside Out's pretty good.
Was that the emotion one?
Yeah, the emotion one.
I saw that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, Disney be on another level.
Those
sometimes.
were great. Those were great films. Yeah, I really enjoyed those. Soul specifically, I really loved Soul.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
Are we doing what fulfills it? And you are doing it. I mean, you're making moves, man, and that's what's awesome. And that's why I love being in Miami, speaking with people like yourself, enjoying the good energy, and collaborating and being creative and figuring out ways to, you know, expand our horizons.
Amen.
Make
Amen,
it
brother.
happen. One thing we always ask all the guests is, sort of as like a finalish question, if you could go back in time and you could have talked to, let's say, 15-year-old you that was clubbing in Miami, and you could have said maybe 1, 2, or 3 things that could have saved you a ton of time, money, heartache, headache, just overall learning curve, and naturally and easy answers that I would have invested in crypto, or you know, I wouldn't have changed anything because it made me who I am. What are some of those things that you might tell yourself?
To stay true to myself and not try to be like anybody else. I think that would have saved me a lot of time and heartache, because I think at an age like 15, you're running around trying to be cool or trying to fit in, because it's that awkward stage where everyone goes through, like, you know, you go through so many identities. So, you know, I guess maybe like at that age you don't even know who the fuck you are, right? But I think just staying true to yourself is a big one. Second one probably would have been just start investing earlier. Like, be more conscious with your money. Don't treat it like scarce, you know. Don't treat it like, because, oh my god, there's not enough, because I think that's a bad mentality to have, and everything's mentality, even the way you approach money. But had I started putting more money away or learning about stocks or whatever and investing at a younger age, I probably would have been like really good right now. I mean, I'm not bad now, but I probably would have been in a way better place.
That's good. Investing is smart. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, dude, it's great you connected. I know you got your you got a event coming up, so we got to cut this. But this is legit. You're a good dude.
Thank
You got to
bro.
come over sometime off cam. We got to chill.
Let's do it, bro.
And welcome to the fam.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on, brother.
Love being on. Thank you.